Hello everyone, this is Jurgita with Magipan Crafts and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy that you came to visit me on this dreary September 1st, 2021. As you see in front of you, that's my Heaven and Earth designs called What's This? And that's what I'm gonna start my month of September with. For those of you who are new to visiting me, welcome, and I hope you enjoy and stick around with me and to see how I progress on different whips of different sizes and styles in stitching and needlework. And if you're coming back again from previous times, welcome again. And I hope you'll continue enjoying it and commenting and clicking like and subscribe. So what I'm starting with this month is again my challenge. This is a 100-day Heaven and Earth Designs or 100-day hate challenge that we have to stitch like a 50 stitches minimum a day or 5 minutes. And I've already finished my first month. We started on the 1st of August, and I can say that I overdid it a bit in stitching, but also I had a few weeks where I was not home and couldn't bring my big whip to stitch on, and that was kind of sad, so I overcompensated during other days. I also have this whip and 3 more that I need to stitch at least 2,000 stitches a month. So that's what I try always to do at the first, and then in between I work on different kind of whips. And this year I challenged myself to totally do 44 new starts, and so far it's going well. I'm still within the limits that I can do, so I will need to do again in September minimum of 3 new starts, no matter the size. And we'll see what I'll pick, because I'm not sure even myself what I'm gonna pick for September. But this is where I'm gonna start my month. So I'm not gonna show you every day like how much I've stitched on this piece, but as my program showing that I have left 5,677 stitches in this area, and my whip is gonna be done. Reminder, I'm stitching this on a 16 count, like a creamy bone Aida fabric with 2 DMC threads over 1 Aida. So that's all it's left. You see I've rolled up the top, I've done all of that, and I'm loving it, and I know some of you who's following this progress loving it too, and some of you even purchased this pattern from Heaven and Earth Designs from Michelle, and I'm very happy to stitch it. There's some Kreinik that had all those snowflakes, but right now I'm in the dark section where snowflakes looking kind of grayish color because it's in the shading, and I think I'm done with all the Kreinik already. So there's gonna be more black 310 color like what I have left in here, so that's gonna be quick, fairly quick stitch. And as I said, I need to do minimum 2,000, but if I do 3,000 a month, so I'll finish in 2 months. So yay, end is coming near, and that's not the first big whip that I'm planning to finish this year, and that's very exciting. So I'm gonna be doing this every day, but I'm not gonna show you every day how I'm stitching on this, but I'll pull out occasionally when I work on something else to show you every, like, I don't know, 3 days or so. So we'll see how this progresses, and let's start. And it's still evening of the September 1st, and I've decided to start something brand new today. I remember that since there is first day of school, at least in Lithuania, that to remember those good old days of mine back in school, I can start something brand new. And I think this picture with the child in the rain goes very well with that. It rained today in here by my house, and I thought that's like a perfect occasion to start something new. And commemorate the beginning of the school year. So I have all the threads already hanging, pre-cut by 1 meter, so I can either do blends that are already in here. I have 53 pure colors and 7 blends out of those colors, and I chose to try out first time on a 25 count easy count grid white gray Lugana fabric. So we'll see how it works out. I'm gonna do like a continental half stitch, and I'm gonna try to do like a top leg instead of a bottom leg like I usually do on a half stitch, and we'll see how it goes, how looks the coverage. And probably not gonna put in a lot since it's getting late, but I wanted to at least start. So let's put in some stitches and see the results. And I'm back from my trip. Actually, I did not put in even one stitch during that time, so it was very itchy to do it when I got home. And I got some stitching put in, and as you see is only this area like left in this portion. And according to pattern reader, I have just over 3,300 left to finish this whole whip. So that's very exciting. And like you see, it should be very quick to finally finish this and this part, because it's one color left in each, and then it's going to be again a little bit of singles and 2 stitches of the same color, and then I'll be filling in faster until the last color left. So you can tell that it's going to be more darker colors in here like the rest of the area, but it's getting closer to the finish. So I set it aside as I stitch already some today for my 100-day challenge, and I've decided to pull something else. And that something else is again my monthly challenge that I wanted to do, stitching minimum 2,000. But if you remember, this is my George piece, and I finished 9 full rows, and this is what it's left, the 10th row. That's not a lot. You can see that my fabric kind of was pulling now slightly differently, because I did not you see the fabric is uneven here. I did not had the fabric sewn in on extra piece, so that's why it's pulling slightly different, but it shouldn't make a difference because it's still tight as a drum. And if I want to finish by New Year, I have to stitch like let's see, this is the middle part, so I need to stitch per month like this area, and then I'll finish right by New Year. So that's gonna be very exciting. Don't know which shades it's gonna be. I started to see more bluish shades like versus here more gray shades, but we'll see how it goes. And what Pattern Keeper says that I have just over 10,600 stitches left in that last row. So let's kick in, and we'll see how I'm gonna be doing that in a few days, how much I'm gonna be able to stitch, and what the shades are gonna be more dominant in these areas. Well, several days passed, and I did more than I planned to do, which is great because it means I'm even closer to the finish. So as you see, this little band is all I've done in the past few days. It flew by. I think I'm like getting second wind of that, grew wings just to get this done. The empty spots I left is one color that I ran out of, and it's just under 200 stitches left in the whole piece. So I think I'm just gonna order through 1, 2, 3 stitch, and just for now I'm gonna leave the spaces empty to get it done. So my plan was to stitch like where the 100 marks are, and as you can see, this is 200. So I've done almost like 1.5 months worth if I wanted to finish by the end of the year. So don't know if I might add another day this month, we'll see. The more I was stitching in it, the more I wanted to continue, but I knew I have to stitch on other whips, and then I decided to just stop with this. I was listening to music on YouTube and listening and time after time glancing on stitchers videos, so that was going pretty fast, and great to see some colors disappearing. So as you can see, there's still quite a bit left, but this is like a half point of the whole row. So it goes fairly fast. I kind of first finish up the threads that I have here and then stitch up, filling in those parts. So this is what I've done with my George, and also now I'm gonna show you a little bit what I have left on my hate lion. And my beauty is right here. I just finished putting in a little bit extra on today's stitches. So today I'm done with this. And all it's left in this area are just two colors. So like 3371, which is brownish color, darker brown, and black. So that's it. So this is just under 2700 stitches left. And it was hard to also stop with this because, as you can see, that's all it's left out of the whole thing, and I just want to finish it, but at the same time I'm gonna be sad to see it finished because I just fell in love with it. Luckily I'll be able to take a glimpse on this cutie time after time at my son's house, so at least that's not bad. Um, of course, it would be more fun to see my own wall looking at me back, especially during winter times. But I know I'm gonna finish it fairly quickly, and September is barely halfway in, and only two colors left, so I can just pound on it and probably could be done by the end of this month, but I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try to extend it a little bit more and enjoy stitching. But as you can see, I already reached the bottom corner in here, and that's what I have on my lion, and I have to stitch still every day at least 50 stitches, which is very hard for me to do. I think I've done like what is it, 39 days. I've done only 2 days that I got like a minimum. Always it's 100, 400 stitches. I've had even 600 stitches. It's hard to put it down, but I stopped for today because I want to grab something else that is my weekly whip, and let's go look. And for my weekly whip, I have my Mirabilia Mermaid. And what I think I'm going to be continue working, I have just under 200 stitches left, is gonna be this green sparkle Krynic to kind of finish filling in here, and then I need to finish this with the regular threads, and after that it's gonna be just the back stitching and beads left to do. So it's also not a lot of work left. Of course, beading I might take it a little bit slower. We'll see. And the back stitching, it always takes me much longer than put in regular stitches. Because I'm trying to like stretch it out, make it more even, and that takes a little bit more time than just plugging in regular excess. So this is where I'm starting. I might work on that just one day. We'll see. Today is, by the way, Thursday. So it's an afternoon already, and I'm gonna just try to put in some. Maybe I'll finish all regular stitching done, and we'll see how I feel after that. So we'll see you in a second. And I got one day only passed, and the only thing I have is to do beading, lots and lots of beading. I've started a little bit, as I said, yesterday, and I put in few beads in here. So it's several colors here, and there's going to be like a grayish at the tips in here, but it's going to be filling up all this area and here, and then bunch of loose ones. But that's the only thing left. Of course, there's a lot of beads, but I finished all the back stitching done on her skin, and these are, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's a cry neck, that number 19, just a little bit needed to do, and of course all the empty spots are gonna be attached. And one of the crinies needed only for like a crown in here. I tried to make as smooth as possible, and I think I succeeded well enough. So all of the stuff is done, and the only thing I'm gonna slowly do is beading, but I've decided one day was plenty, and I already had to skip one of the beads in here to fill in a little bit better, and to make it nicer row. Of course, up and down it's harder to do that way, but at least in the row it gives me a little bit more space to put in here. So I've decided to set it aside. I put in like 60 stitches in my lion, but it's not worth showing because you probably won't be able to tell. But what I'm gonna be doing next in the past next few days is my kings. As you know, I have to do monthly about the 2000 stitches on my challenges, so it helps me push it further along. And the row is like this, and already marked off area that I'm going to be working on. So that's where I'm starting, and I'll see you in several days. Well, happy Monday the 13th, and yep, I worked intensely on my kings, and as you can see, I already did more than I was planning to do. I actually went and did extra portion in it, and even went a bit. You can see like I got the edge already done in here, so one row is almost complete, so it's less than 2000 of course in here left. And then we will roll another like another time last one, and the head's gonna disappear, so it's gonna be like a full size that I do like a page type thing, and a little bit. So I think it's about eight or I think eight squares down that's gonna be. So I might just roll her up to like here as much as possible, so I don't have to unroll it. So once I finish this, of course, I'll show you guys. I'll take a picture because I love how it's turning out. I mean, it's a lot of those gloomy colors again, but you can kind of see the pattern in the outfit, so it's a neat thing to look at, and the race in here too. So looking very lovely. I'm very happy. So almost done with this row. I almost did not want to put it down, but I want to start something new and work on something else. And speaking of something else, I have almost another row done, and actually almost the whole thing finished on my lion. So you see his eye speaking. This is all it's left, and it's all in 310. So just one color left already. Put all other threads from my floss organizer away. It's just pulling out the 310 and filling in. I think it's around 1600 stitches left in here in this area, so I'm stitching little by little. I really don't want to set it aside and say goodbye to him. Once it's gonna finish, it's gonna be finished. So you see this bright green stuff, it's just actually those pool noodles that I know I did kind of late, almost finished with my lion, but I just cut it in the side and sliced her up. So you can, ooh, creaking, you can kind of see it sliced in half, and you can stab your needles in there if you need to be, like I did on the top too. So if I wanted to, I can put in there extra needles, although I have my needle minders. So my height is almost done, guys. I looked it up. I started last May, was it 20th or 22nd, something like that. So it's gonna be just what, about a year and 4 months since my restart of this, and I'm just doing slowly daily. of course, it's more than 50 stitches daily, especially that I have just one color left. I practically can fill in without looking, and then in the program, I just um, cover up the like a blocks of that approximately, or like an area in here. So that's what I've been working on the past. I've been organizing some stuff that I brought from my mother-in-law, and I put all those threads that I was almost all just like little few Ziploc bags left. And you've seen how color differentiates between different skeins. Also, on this trip that I recently took, I found something else very interesting that I've never seen before. And I decided to pull it out in my hallway. Kind of matches my floor too. So it's a box that you can, I guess, used to buy idle time floss box. It's like a little suitcase, pretty big size, pretty big and heavy thing with the latching. So when I opened up a latches, um, let's see what I found here. How did it? How did I open up? I can't remember now. Hold on a sec. And you open up, and it's actually a color sorter, DMC, or any other colors. So the holds on this little chain, and it used to have 360 colors. So the list was there, and interesting, I found that, let's see, it says white is 000 and ecru 001 colors, and it still has some extra numbers in here and the blanks to put in, and it had these kind of plasticky bobbins in, like you can see with the numbers, and I guess they would just sit like that, and just kind of dividers. This is felty type of fabric. Also on this part, I know it kind of fell off. It was like a Velcro, but you would pull by the Velcro and you could have something else. So there's like inside little compartment, and it says information about it, that you can get this kind of box, and it was in Lakeview, Missouri. I haven't looked it up if they still exist or not, but I guess you can like put the project in here, and it feels very good. So you can kind of hide it in there, close it up, and I'm good to go. But the box is very heavy, so I don't think I'm gonna be traveling anywhere with him, with it. I probably should say, but I might be putting something in here like leftover, let's see, anchor threads, or I have dimensions or some other colors that I might put in here. It's kind of neat, cool box to remember by. So it's by Idle Times. I thought that was neat. And along with the memories with the box, we found several bags from stitching conventions. So you see this design was printed on this canvas bag. I'm gonna have to wash it. It says 1999 Joan Elliott design, if you can recognize. And what another side it said, it's a Heart of Cross Stitch Festival. I went to a few of them. I remember in the very beginning when I got married, and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law took me in sort of under their wings to introduce me to all those interesting festivals. I took some classes in there with Cherish Teddy's designer, Pat Carson, and a few others. So it was very fun, and we went to Des Moines, Iowa, stayed there for several nights. So that was, I thought that I would keep that as a memory of my trips. I can't find my bags. Maybe I got rid of them back then. But yeah, so that's one of the other things. So after showing you this, there's going to be more interesting things popping out through my upcoming videos, I guess. But I want to show you what I'm gonna start stitching new. And my new stuff is this free pattern. Hello, my reflection. It's called Nutcracker. You can see in there. It's a free pattern by a Russian designer that we're doing sort of like a project. And I, in beginning, thought of doing that on a plastic canvas. I had it all. but I've decided to just get I have plenty of 28 count fabric. So we had again, like I've done in previous projects like that, it was color palette given, so I put it all in here. I have now fabric ready. I took a picture, sent it to designer, and I got the pattern. So it's on a my crochet saga, so it's gonna be quite a bit of a stitching. It's 63 by 66, and it's about 2101 crosses, and back stitching is over 1,000. So there's gonna be quite a bit of a back stitching to do. Don't know how else to show you. It's too much of a reflection. I did not print this one out, so I thought some more new something to stitch on my Christmas tree besides the Santas. So this is a color palette that I'm gonna be working on, and we'll meet in a bit. Here he is magically all done. So I kept it still in the same frame that I've stitched in, and it just barely fit in. I actually stitched in the well, and for picture purposes to send it to designer to show that I've done, I redid the framing so this shows on the top versus like inside. So it was just over 2,600 stitches. It took me 2 days to stitch all like a full stitches in here, and one full day with tiny bit to do all the back stitching, because there was several colors, and again with 1 and 2 threads. But I think it turned out great, although it's quite a big, I stitch on the 28 count over 2, so it's like on the 14 count, and as you can see, like almost like my whole hand is covering it, but it's okay. I'm thinking of when I'm gonna be done with all of those ornaments, I'll just cut out in a shape and do a little bit stuffing so it would get like a 3D effect. Haven't decided fully yet, but we'll see. I already sent it out and picked my second ornament from her collection that we can do, and it's actually gonna be a gnome, and it will have 1,000 stitches less, so it's gonna be much easier, much faster. But want to tell you a funny story also with this nutcracker. So I was sharing with some of the stitcher friends on the messenger some pictures, and I'll show it to you too, that this nutcracker was giving me a hard time. So at first he started to look like a gnome, not a nutcracker. So when I have a pictures, I'll put in while I'm talking. So first looked like a gnome, and then when I stitched just his hand, um, in it started to look like he was just flipping me off, all the time until I filled in area. Then when I was starting to stitch the trumpet part by his mouth, it looked like he's smoking something. Like, so we were all laughing, like, that guy is just so weird and making fun of me. So after the smoking part, when it was starting to get longer and like a circled on the top, it looked like he's about to blow bubbles, on the tube. So until I finished it all, stitching it and then back stitching only, then he started looking like a normal nutcracker. But we were laughing our heads off, and now we everybody can't wait and to look what my actual gnome is gonna do to me. I'm thinking maybe he's gonna behave versus this guy, and he's actually smiling at me, laughing. So that was the funny story of this guy, and I'm happy I stitched it, and the back stitching, of course, with this always for me takes longer, because if I want to do continuous lines, I have to like puncture previous one of the back stitching to make it not more nicer and even. So I'm all ready for gnome, and you'll see that when I guess I'm done within the next few days, I would imagine. But also besides this guy, I've of course stitched on my lion, and I'll show you now. And my line actually got much shorter. This is just under 1,000 stitches left, and I haven't stitched yet today. I'm really gonna try not to finish it today. We'll see how it's gonna work out because it's, we have a day's work and it's gonna be fully done. So we'll see if I can stay away or not. But this is where I am looking at right now, and I have all the threads like are all ready to go, and all other threads are put away. So line is looking like this right now. Also, besides that, I managed to stitch a little bit on my oldest whip, much older than lion. It's from 2017, and let me pull that out for you. And it will be my linen and threads mystery sampler. So beginning, I have it like pinched under Q snaps. I'm stitching again on the 32 count linen, cream linen, 1/1 full threads. So compared to my hand, it looks very tiny, but across actually is 205 stitches all the way across. So again, I'm just trying to decide which color goes where exactly, and that's probably my longest non-stitching time that I spent on this one is figure out the color palette where it's gonna go out of those few colors that I've picked. So as you can see, I have a last part of September of 2017 Mr. Sampler here, all ready to go. So it shouldn't take that much longer. And I guess I can put you a picture where I started. It just was a little bit in here done. At the first part, September had the 3 parts, and I've just started stitching and just started to fly by, especially when you figure out, how many each part, like these pointy flower thingies are with the very variegated threads. So I knew how many each has, and like a formula where it's like 3 3 2 2 3 1 1 1 again, like that. So I didn't have to even look at the pattern. So that flew by very quickly. And my purpose was to finish September. So that's the only part that left in this year. We'll see. Maybe I'll start October too. Never know. But this is my oldest whip. I started in 2017 towards the end of February. So yeah, it's gonna be 5 years in February, and I'm hoping by then to fully finish it, to celebrate it. So that's what I'm worked at, and I've decided then to go ahead and do my new gnome, and we'll see if this guy is gonna give me some adventure or not. So stay tuned, and in the blink of an eye, you're gonna see how it turns out. So you know how I was talking about the naughty nutcracker, and I started stitching on this guy, and then started to look like a seal, on a big ball. There's uh, what those called flippers in here, spotted seal, and holding like on the nose some toy, like sitting on a big giant ball. So that my imagination then took off, and let me see what I found on my lion. And here it is, my lion. So what do you see? Does it look like some creature? I don't know, like a tailless dinosaur looking over the tiny, like a toilet with a seat on the top. I don't know. It's just I was just happily stitching along, and like those eyes are right there and it's popping, or other some kind of other creature could be here, but my imagination just took off to the wild, crazy side. So I guess with the animals this time, and yeah, so it looks like some like with the lid, some kind of seat. So this is what is left on my lion, the whole thing, and. I might finish it tonight or tomorrow. We'll see if I can stretch her out or not. So you'll know in a second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today it's still the 17th of September 2021, and I finished it all. Wow. So if I worked like about full days, it would have gotten me a total 88 days perhaps. If you remember, I was doing 100-day challenge. One every day for 100 days I had to stitch, and I'm on a day, what is it, 47th, I believe. So that was done. And I decided to put in my initials in a year as a stitches. I still am not sure if I like the color. I'm gonna be asking with the pictures for more opinion, but when it's all framed and unrolled, it's gonna be more concentration in here. So I might have to redo this, not sure yet, in the darker colors or something like that, but I wanted to put in, and it's not as shining fabric all the way through as you see in the camera, which kind of puts out more light throughout. But it's finished. I started it on May 22nd, 2020, and totally had 90,000, no, 92,050 stitches on it done. So I'm very excited and sad at the same time. I stretched it out as much as I could, but today it just was putting in initials and stitching around it, and it's like, oh, there's like a couple hundred left only, so just went with it. So now I can look at it for a little bit, rest, take it all apart, stretch it out full to see full picture. I haven't seen that in a while, and I'll show you that too. And here it is all unrolled. My frames are finally free from this. So you can see this is 8.5 by 11 sheet, and what's the whole thing looks like. It looks just like in the picture, right? Um, except maybe like these parts are a little bit more seen than in the printing of the page. But also what I wanted to show you, I've undone one side and I love to show you this one. So I had just a scrap of piece of fabric, and I sewed in my stitchy fabric on it. Plus I sewed in like a pocket. I took one of the rods from my Omanic stand, and I put it in and left just a little bit more space like here to see, and you can kind of see there's a like a hole right now shaped, so it holds well in those Omanic frames. Well, for example, like here, I'm gonna show you. See, so when you pull and put in the frame in here, slide it gently like standing up. You can slide it in with the fabric, and this is not going to be fabric, not going to be slipping out of your frame, especially if you have a much thinner fabric. This is a platinum 16 count Zweigart Ada. So this, I love this life hack for it, and I just need to undo right now this stitch part that I had sewed in, and I can reuse this again on a different thing. So here is the whole thing, and you probably can't see, but I also have a sparkly cryonic in some of the spots where there is a snow, and a little bit like here. But let's measure out before he takes a bath. And I have a ruler, and the ruler is gonna be in centimeters too and inches, so we can check it out. So we have 20.5 inches, or let's see, 52 centimeters wide. And like again, it's on a 16th count, so if you're having different count, it's going to be looking different. And let's see, for the height is about, also just make sure I got it correctly, it's just a little bit above 16.5 inches, or what's that, 40, 400 millimeters, so 42 centimeters with a little bit in height. And the stitch count is 350 by 263. So here it is. And again, I've started this in last May. And of 2021, I had this only like about 30% done. And let's see, I had it marked 30.29% done. And I was planning to do just like 2,000 a month stitches, but of course, like in January, I flew through it. I think I did like 13,000 stitches. Really, those stitching games help a lot in the stitching, because you just go super fast. Plus, it was majority is in the game was for the sky, so that had much less color, much less mixing up. So that's what it looks like right now, and it's ready for a bath. And then we'll see, I guess, some markings. You can see it's also supposed to be taken off by the heat, so I'm probably gonna be washing up in warm water, and we'll see how it all comes out. If it comes out very well, then I'm not gonna be afraid to mark it on the places where it's much lighter in color, and we'll check this out. And another day, another finish. So I'm introducing to you my gnome, and I finished it and just practically hot off the press, finished all the back stitching. So I was taking a nicer picture, that's why it's still set up. And as you can see, back stitching, it was only in two colors, 310 of course with one, and some places with two threads, and a tiny bit of a white here to kind of do this shading. But this is what he looks like, very cute. This kind of turquoise color is my favorite color, so I was stitching that with great love. I thought it's going to be slightly different shading, but when I pulled out the threads, that's what I came up with, and it's holding garland with a different kind of colored ornaments, and very happy. So I'm gonna be sending this to designer again, and I already picked my third future start. It's gonna be probably Santa, or she also has now few Halloween ornaments. We'll see. But I'm gonna put this aside, and while I'm waiting for the new pattern to show you, I'm gonna grab one of my monthly BAPs stitching, and let's go see. And it's my probably the biggest design that I'm doing it right now. It's by Schemos by Astra, and it's a Spoiled Child by Gruge, French painter. And I have right now 12.59%, I believe. So let's see where I am right now. I'm keeping this on also on my harmonic frame, so I don't have to take it off and on all the time. So as you can see, the first row, just a little bit like right with the line of this, I don't know what it is, a shelf or something. So just with that line, and I started already the second row, so it's all those boring gray colors again. And the next section, my minimum is 2,000 stitches, and I marked for 25, so we'll see. 1% is about 2,313 is 1% exactly. So I might try to go 1% at a time, or try to go for 2,500 to kind of even out a bit more. And as you can see by the picture, it's gonna be maybe a little bit lighter area in here. So it's still comparatively very small. Small amount that I've done, and I don't know how many years it's gonna take unless I take that as my main stitching. But right now it's my one of the biggest, 230 plus thousand stitches total, and I'm stitching this on 18th count, 2/1, so it's a full cross. and it's still, you can compare with my hand, it's bigger than my George by a tiny bit, and George was stitched I think on a 16 count, so it's a lot of stitching. And once I pass this point, I'm gonna have all kinds of different colors popping in, and the details gonna be starting showing up more. Right now I'm just kind of getting rid of most boring parts, which is gonna be here and there. So we'll meet, I guess, after I do this section. And a few days later, few intense days of stitching, I could say, I've already finished all that big section that I was planning to stitch, and even a tiny bit more. So as you can see, it's kind of brownish wall in this area with some lighter colors, but I think it's gonna stop, and if you follow the lines, it's gonna be getting darker, and we're gonna be hitting that interesting shelf over here in that area. If you know more about this painting, maybe you can tell, or if you know what kind of structure that thing is over there hanging. But I'm very happy to do that, and I'm thinking that maybe I should do every month 2,500 stitches to stitch, because that would give me a good 1% each time. And still, if I do that, it might take me like 6 years to finish the whole picture. So at least for now, I'm gonna try to stick with 2,500 stitches, because as you can see, it's pretty big. So I'm gonna be setting this aside, and actually last night I started on my George again, because I got so inspired by finishing my lion that I wanna push George closer to the finish. So let me show you that. And here it is. I actually also was stitching today, Monday, for a while too. So I got over 1,000 stitches again, and I did not show you that part. So as you can see, this is very last row. So it's like 3 blocks down, and this is the middle part. So, and if you fill in these stitches over here, I could practically safely say that it's half of the row is already done and half is left to do, and it's not the end of September yet. The empty holes you can see here is one of the threads that I've run out of, and it's a Sullivan thread, so I haven't bought that extra skein yet. I'm not gonna ask for that to be sent from Heather. I'm just gonna buy one that skein. So I'm just filling in slowly all other colors in here. Like I first pull out the ones that are hanging and parked and finish them off in the area, and then filling in the rest of it. So that's how I'm gonna continue, and I'm very happy that I think I started this month from very beginning, so that's exciting that in 1 month I can do all of that, and plus more. So I looked at my my list, what I was working on the whips this month, and I had Spoiled Child as my number 10. So I think I'm gonna have what, one more maybe ornament, and plus I wanted to do another Santa ornament from my trio. So that would be it, and I think I'm gonna just stick with those whips that I've started this month, and I'm gonna work on them. So that's what I have on a George. Also, I'm gonna put the picture I took when I was taking my kid to work a few days ago. That's the first time I've seen one of those experimental cars that can drive by themselves. So that's I was right in front of it, and I could say that that car can take off once it goes past the intersection. and it did not swerve or anything. Don't know exactly how it works, but it was cool to see, especially in the smaller towns that we have, not the major towns. So that was kind of cool to check out. I would not have known if there was no sticker on the back saying about it. So that's all I have for now. I'm gonna be working on George, at least for today. Maybe I'll do my George again like I did with my lion, where I do every day a little bit stitching and then pulling something else out. Maybe I'll do that in October. We'll see. But it's very exciting to look at how little is left, and it encourages me to work more on this whip and have it all done. So that would be my second biggest whip of this year that I would be finishing it. And it gets me more and more pumped up about it. So anyway, I'm gonna stop chatting, and I'll come back when I've done some more of that, and maybe then I'll grab one of those itty bitty new whips. So let's see. Well, today is 23rd of September 2021, and I've practically finished my George finally, almost 4 years that is happening. I left exactly 22 stitches in this area. I wanted to do it as a finish at Needlework Galleria, which will be going tomorrow. So it's very exciting. And what I'm gonna do tonight is unroll it finally and see the whole thing unrolled from my Omanic frame, and that's how I'm gonna take it with me. But I'm very happy that I finished it ahead of my own time, because I was planning before February. But all those challenges really helped me put it. And actually, the last part where you see the big mark, so it's like a three blocks down, 30 stitches down. I finished it all, I believe, in September only. So in the 23 days I finished the whole partial row. So that's very, very exciting, although I was pushing it and pushing it in the past those 4 days to finish it or get as close. And once I was getting closer, and it's like longer staying up to do it, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to Galleria. I might see a few other fellow George stitchers where they have their own parts. So it would be cool to bring my piece also to show at least the sky. So that's will be interesting to see the whole thing with the shading. Like you can kind of tell different shading of grays in here, and like blues are popping in more on the bottom. So I would imagine the next piece that's going to be attached to is going to have way more blues. You see some blues scattered in here too, brighter ones. And I had several colors shortage, but that was fine. And it's always hard to figure out the colors. And like you see, some of the threads I still have left. One of the biggest, I guess, colors. So that was, of course, it's a Sullivan color, so it's a similar to DMC. So this I had. Just a tiny bit of 318 left, and some left. So there's only a few that I ran short, and I saved actually all the tops of the full skeins. So that was interesting for myself, kind of to see like all in the same color in here. Let's see, that's 160 was, and that's 169. There was almost full 2 skeins of that, and again like this. So some of the colors that I had, majority of the stitches in is all here, so you can tell. So had my very last thread left here to unhook it and put it in here, and my thing is also will be done. So yeah, I had it written down. I started on the 22nd of 2018. and I can take this off. So it's again an 18th count 8/2/1, and my piece was, at least on the paper, written that's 396 by 549 in the height. So in a second you'll see it all opened up.
How many stitches left?
6. My favorite number. And 13 is my fun number.
Uh-oh, sorry.
People apologizing left and right. Oh, the frame is waiting. And the last stitch. Picture of that.
How do I take a picture?
There's a picture symbol there.
Okay.
Got it. All right. One leg. I need to finish. And the fan. Woo!
She still has her sanity.
That's why we stitch, so we don't kill people. Oh, it's gonna be so exciting to get rid of this. And the scissors. Ta-da! Snipped off.
This is not a very smooth video, sorry.
Good job. Oh my goodness.
Down low?
It's all done.
Say cheese.
I was just gonna say it looks like a little tiny piece, but it looks like it's done.
Okay. Yeah.
Without the mask. Without the mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened. I thought I recorded some video several days at least ago how I was finishing George, because the last part, one part you saw that I had partial last row still left to do, and then finished it, of course, and I took it to Needlework Galleria actually to put in last 22 stitches. So just wanted to show you live and look at, compared to my hand, this giant piece. And it's over 217 stitches, and I finished those last 22 sort of symbolically surrounded by stitchers in one of the stitcher rooms that we had in St. Charles, Missouri, Needlework Galleria. And if you're also working on your George piece, especially when you can't tell which is up, which is down part, I was gonna put also a post in our group that maybe you mark it with like where the top, where the bottom is, because you would know looking at my piece if that's a top or bottom, or like if it goes side to side, you know, turned. So I'm gonna mark it where my top is, maybe stitch a little thing like I knew that these threads are on the bottom. So that's the only way I know which way to turn my piece. It got a little bit wrinkled up. I have not fully like washed it yet. The only thing I can tell, actually update with the iron, maybe I was using it too hot, but there's still a little bit markings left in here. Of course, for the video I was sort of in a hurry to do, so we'll see. Maybe I'll do in like lukewarm water this piece. So yeah, since I was last recording while working on this piece, after that many things happened, and one of them is, of course, like I said, Needlework Galleria happened. So excited, haven't had that in 2 years, so we're very happy to be back there. I'm gonna have a separate video, sort of like a walk through practically all of the rooms, showing you old and new stuff, how they laid out, with some pictures inserted. And we had a great time shopping. My sister-in-law came for the very first time in this event, and she also stitches, not as much as me, of course, but it was interesting, amazing experience, she said. I was explaining in a lot of detail beforehand, so it wouldn't be like overwhelming, and she enjoyed it. So we spent 2 full days there, shopped, chatted, ate around there, and just a tiny bit of stitching. So besides my George, I didn't have a lot of time to stitch. So I grabbed my Doctor Who. Actually, I'm gonna put in a picture of how much I stitched, because it's rolled up on the top. So I don't have a lot of that left to do, just the parts of the legs and the shoes, and that would be it. I did not do a lot during Galleria stitching time, but I came home and I was so fired up to stitch with all the things that I've been waiting for 2 years, that just couldn't stop and just worked on this. Well, especially since the legs, the majority of them is one color, and just a little bit of the blends. So that was going very fast, and I could sit and finish in the next few days probably. But I decided to set this aside, and I'll show you what next I grabbed. Ta-da, my Mediterranean mermaid. So I was kind of reluctant to do beading, especially when I had just started in this area, and I wasn't very keen of doing again in the rows, but then after my Doctor Who, I started beading, and I kind of got into it and was stitching, plus magical stitches homework I wanted to finish doing the monthly that I had this done to get the monsters. So once I started getting into like a smaller groups, I was just like all on fire and just kept going and going. And here is all area like already stitched, and it sparkles more than you can see right now. I have a still thread. I'm using this Eily or something like this, invisible thread, and that's what I'm working. And usually for me beading is way slower than regular stitches, but I figured I need to get it done, and gonna slowly kind of go towards the top there and maybe finish in this area. But also I've done all of that and made myself stop. And I love how it's just popping out all those beads. Made myself stop so I can work on something else for my many games that I needed to put in. And I'll show you what I was working until late last night. Well, semi-late. And here it is, my two kings. So I just finished all of the other colors that I needed to do in this area. So all that's left in this big part is 310. So that's gonna go fairly quickly, although it's almost 900 stitches left to fill in that part, and the row will be done. So of course, since today is October 1st, I wanted to show you what I'm gonna start my October and my 3 months to the finish line game. So that's where it is. I wanted to kind of fill in more, but didn't want to go way too much in the nighttime. And that's what I have right now. So it's very exciting. It's gonna be my monthly must stitch pieces. So that's where I'm leaving that off. Now let's go see. I'm gonna show you something else. And that something else is I received in end of September my round robin piece. So this is my part that I'm trying to get everybody else to stitch, sort of. And those are Books Brooks Advent Animals. They're all free on her website. So if you want to go and stitch something like this, go ahead and go in there. And she has all kinds of other cute small and semi-small ornament styles. So the way it goes, I love round robin because you know somebody else stitches something for you to keep as a memory, and I figured then this way once I cut them out, because I just mark these, it's not gonna stay like that. There's some kind of different border supposed to be, but I'm gonna be doing it either like ornament or tiny little pillows or something. I haven't decided yet, but I know that it's all gonna be made by all other stitchers. And this one is already my second round of round robins. And if you want to participate in something like this, there's just a few tiny rules, you know, the size of the piece, or you can do like you've seen me do, like something continuous, and we just do small part of it. So the owner of the whip is gonna tell you what exactly she or he wants you to do, but the next round is gonna start after New Year, so you can sign up for that. There's ADA groups like US and I believe UK also separate, and this is for linen slash even weave group that we're doing. So this time it was only 3 of us, and I've worked with those 2 ladies before, and so I kind of have 2 of from them each. And I just said, you know, pick any animal you want. I made the little frame, and they just stitched it. And I'm gonna be sending this again on the next round robin after New Year, so I'll just need to make a frame and mark off what it's already stitched. I might cut out some, I'm not sure, but that's what I received, and it's so cool. So for the last fragment of well, not October, September, end of September video, I'm just gonna show you a small amount of goodies that I bought at Galleria. And here it is. It was hiding under my George, so I just laid out all on my bed here. And as you can see, I got some stash of fabric. So some of them is this fabric flare kind of printed fabric. You see the backside, that the sky and the sand, so it would be great for I figured one of those mirabilias that's sitting on a rock. Now I can't remember from top of my head which one it was sitting, but some girl could be standing, you know, on the sand, sort of. There was also one with the grass and sky also. And I was trying to find, you know, not the linen, but like more even weave. Something simple for all those little small projects that keep popping up for me that I was not planning to stitch. And, well, this is a little bit of linen. It's a regular, some picture displus, and like a few, turns out I went in a couple of times, so a few different sizes I got of the same color. I didn't notice that before. I was just looking at the colors. And when you go in the Galleria, you get this giant booklet with all the shops, a little bit information on them, and you can put the notes in there if you're looking at something. And so you see all those shops in here. There were few that I missed. I was hoping for them to come. Of course, like, you know, from Europe, and I think somebody comes maybe from New Zealand too. I can't remember, but several foreign shops couldn't come, of course, you know, due to COVID and stuff. But we had all the majority ones. There are several that unexpectedly couldn't come at the last minute, so it was kind of sad to see. And let's see. So Rosewood Manors, I've decided to grab this. I love the look of this sewing box, just so delicate. And she also had the fabrics to match some of her projects, so I got that. And I think this chime is also the one I was looking for her inspiration piece. So she had a fabric and I grabbed it right away because the fabric listed, maybe it's not being made anymore. So anyway, this is chime. And if you're doing inspiration piece that I still love, love, love to look at, hopefully I'm going to start in 2022. So I got this fabric, although it looks totally different than in the picture. I think this is more gray for you than that, but it is like that color. There was a whole room with previous all kinds of punch needle and primitive stitcher magazines. So I got this because, as you know, I'm gonna be doing some of those pincushion dolls. I have several of them, and this one had more instructions on the inside too of the pictures, so I thought that's cool. Plus you get this kind of design, so that was fun. And got I've been eyeing this. I know it's a very old piece, Cirque du Circles, but I still love how it looks. I've seen many of the stitches already have done this, so I've decided to do this. I might give ending piece to my other son. My sister-in-law thought he might love it, so that might be a surprise piece. Then, of course, Janice always comes up with something totally new and different from Noteworthy Needle, and she has this little tiny boxes. It's like a Birthstone Series for Timbals, and she had for each month, and I was born in December, so of course I needed to start. And it already includes, you probably won't see, it's this little wooden like a put together little box, so everything is in there to create a shape and everything, and a pattern. So it's very easy gonna be piece. And also she came up with this brand new bucket. She did not have a kit at that time yet, but I got a pattern at least, so I can start stitching. Maybe I'll make it before Thanksgiving because I have the rusty buckets from her from previous time. Grabbed a few glass seed beads, and only one place I found ball tip needles, and I got the two different sizes. And I love them, especially if you're stitching on like a linen. They don't cut through the thread so easily, so it's much nicer. And I was very surprised to actually find like a whole kit. Like I said, I'm making those dolls. So this is another doll. Let's see if I can make it more clear. So that's a doll I'm gonna be making, and the whole kit came, you know, with those pincushions, her half doll here wrapped up, those extra fabrics. The only thing I need to get is, you know, the stitching fabric by itself, and like that cone thing to keep a shape of that. But yes, so the doll is there, this side fabric is there, those counting needles are all done in here. And yeah, I was very surprised, very happy to see that. And also by her design in different store, I found this like those strawberries, berries. So her name is designer Giulia Punti Antici. She also is known by Manfredini. So yeah, I liked this with the crown kind of thing. So that's only pattern in here. And I got only one needle minder because I started stitching something with the London, so I figured I need needle minder exactly with London scenery. So that's what I've got. And one more fabric that I did not have, so I couldn't stitch it, and it's Whimsical Winter, so it's gonna be for my Meridian Designs Palawan Peacock. Oh, what's that girl? She had it there, and you'll see in the video. So last time I was planning to stitch her, I have everything except the fabric somehow. So I prefer to buy fabrics when I can see it, which is much easier to see, you know, all the shading and stuff. So they had twice the size, and very graciously cut the size I needed, and I'm ready to stitch that. So those are my small purchases at the Galleria. Not a lot. You don't see a lot of those primitive pieces, but it's okay. I have some of them already waiting to be stitched. So there's lots of fabric and some projects because I have boxes and shelves of projects to be started. So with that happy note, with my all the goodies in here, I'm gonna say goodbye until next time. I'm gonna be popping videos more often because my 3 months to the finish line project starting today. So I'm going to be switching between at least 6 projects plus 2 monthlies. Plus I'm going to do something daily, a little bit stitching to fill in because I'm still fired up with those giant finishes like right here, my George. So until the next time, this was Jurgita with Magipon Crafts, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.